You know, it's funny. We're all pretty good at protecting our bodies, right? I mean, if you get sick, you go to the doctor. If you're in pain, you look for medicine. Feeling a bit weak, you hit the gym. It's just what we do. It's second nature.
But have you ever stopped to think about how we protect our minds? It's a question we almost never ask ourselves. And honestly, in the world we live in today, the answer might just be the most important one there is.
Because right now, our minds are dealing with something completely new, something no other generation in history has ever had to face. I'm talking about an absolute explosion of information. And here's the scary part. The danger isn't the information itself. No, the real danger is that we were never, ever trained on how to defend ourselves from it.
So, to really get why we're so unprepared for this, we've got to take a step back and look at just how much our world has changed. You see, for most of human history, information was, well, it was more like a gentle stream.
For thousands of years, people got their information from just a few places, right? Their parents, their teachers, books, the people in their town. It was a small, trusted circle. And information moved slowly. You actually had time to process things, to think. But today? Oh man, today is completely different. We're not in a stream anymore. We're in a raging river. Just think about a single day. You might see hundreds of social media posts, dozens of news headlines, one video after another, ads, political messages. It's just a relentless, constant flood.
And this constant flood, it comes with a hidden cost. It's something a brilliant cognitive psychologist named Herbert A. Simon actually saw coming way before the rest of us.
He had this famous quote, "A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention." Let that sink in for a second. What he meant was, the more information we're drowning in, the harder it is to focus. Our attention, our ability to just think, that becomes the really valuable and really scarce thing.
Okay, so our attention is scarce. And that leads us to a really, really important point. The information you see every day, it isn't neutral. Not at all. There are these invisible forces at play, constantly shaping what you see. And trust me, they are absolute masters of distraction.
Think about it. Behind almost every single message you see online, there is an intention. Somebody or some algorithm wants something from you. They want your attention. They want your money. They want your vote. Or they just want to shape your opinion.
And modern technology has put this whole process on steroids. I mean, data companies are analyzing everything you do online, what you click, what you share, what you watch, even how long you watch it. They're building this incredibly detailed profile of you, your hopes, your fears, your habits, and once they understand you, they can influence you. Now, they're not forcing you. It's much more subtle than that. They're just shaping the information you see, curating the little world that shows up on your screen every day.
There's a psychologist named Robert Cialdini, who's basically the expert on persuasion. And he explains that we humans are really susceptible to these subtle psychological triggers. Things like social proof, that feeling that if everyone else is doing it, it must be right. Or emotional framing, like when a story uses scary music to make you feel anxious. The point is, our decisions are constantly being guided in ways we don't even consciously notice. It's like we're puppets, and we can't even see the strings.
So, why are we so easily tricked? Well, the real problem is a huge mismatch. Our brains, they weren't designed for this. They evolved over thousands and thousands of years in small tribes. Back then, information came from people you knew, from direct experience. It's like we're running ancient Stone Age software on a supercomputer from the future.
And this is something that Tristan Harris, a technology thinker who used to work inside Google, talks about all the time. He warns that a lot of these digital platforms, they aren't distracting by accident. No, they are intentionally designed to exploit our psychological weaknesses. The goal, as he puts it, is simple. Capture your attention for as long as humanly possible. Because in this new economy, your attention is what they're selling. Just think about the kind of stuff that goes viral. Our brains are hardwired to react powerfully to strong emotions. It's a survival thing, right? When we feel fear or anger or outrage, our brain kicks into high gear. And that is exactly why the most extreme, outrageous content spreads like wildfire. It's not because it's the most accurate. It's because it knows exactly how to hijack our emotions and get a quick reaction.
Okay, so this all sounds a little bleak, but here's the good news. This problem, it's not entirely new. And the solution, the defense system we all need, it was actually figured out more than 2,000 years ago by some of the smartest people who ever lived.
One of these brilliant thinkers was a philosopher you've probably heard of, Socrates, and he believed that the single most important skill any person could ever develop was the ability to question information before just accepting it as true.
And he taught a really simple but incredibly powerful method. Before you believe anything he said, you have to ask yourself 4 simple questions. 1. Who said this? 2. Why are they saying it? 3. What evidence do they have to back it up? And 4. Could there be another way of looking at this?
This whole process, it has a name. We call it critical thinking. And in the world we live in today, critical thinking is your mental firewall. It is the shield that stands between the flood of information and your own mind.
And building that firewall isn't just important, it's absolutely crucial. Because you know what? The biggest risk here isn't even to us. It's to the next generation. We're talking about children who are growing up completely immersed in this digital world, surrounded from day one by algorithms designed to grab and hold their attention. You see, a psychologist named Jean Piaget did this groundbreaking work showing that a child's brain develops in stages, and that ability to think critically, to question things, that doesn't really kick in until they're teenagers. Before that, kids tend to take things at face value. So if we don't teach them, they could spend thousands of hours online absorbing all this stuff before they even have the mental tools to ask, wait a minute, is this true? And that makes them incredibly vulnerable to being manipulated.
So let's go back to that firewall idea, because it's a really good one. You know how a computer firewall works, right? It scans incoming data and blocks anything that looks harmful. Well, a mental firewall does the exact same thing, but for your mind. It's all about filtering information by questioning it before you let it in, before it takes root and becomes something you believe.
So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it's about building a few simple habits. It means training yourself to slow down before you automatically believe something. It means getting into the habit of checking a couple of different sources. It means paying very close attention anytime a message makes you feel a really strong emotion, like anger or fear. And yeah, it means learning to see the game for what it is. Because here's the bottom line. Not every idea out there deserves a place in your head. You know, we live in the most connected time in all of human history. But we have to remember something really important. Just because you're connected, that doesn't mean you're informed. And just because you're informed, well, that doesn't mean you're wise. Those are 3 very, very different things.
And as we look to the future, it's pretty clear. It's not going to belong to the people who can just consume the most information. No. The future is going to belong to the people who know how to filter it, the ones who can do it with intention and with skill.
So what's the big takeaway here? In this age of information, the most powerful skill you can have isn't knowing everything, it's knowing what not to believe. And that leaves us with just one question for you to think about. How strong is your firewall?